There is a type of a tenant that every landlord needs to know how to recognize. And no, I'm not talking about someone who lost their job. I'm not talking about someone who had a genuine emergency. And I am not talking about a tenant who is difficult, complains a lot, or even knows their rights. I'm talking about applicants who understand the rental system better than many landlords do. They know exactly what landlords forget to verify. They know which questions you are afraid to ask. They know how long the eviction process can take. They know how to create delays. An inexperienced landlord who is desperate to fill a vacancy can be an easy target. Those are sometimes referred to as professional tenants. And one of the most dangerous mistakes you can make as a landlord is thinking that you will be able to recognize one by simply meeting them. You probably won't. They can be extremely prepared, they can have documents, they can have references, and they have a great story. They can be polite, professional, and appear to be the perfect applicant. That is why today I want to talk about 5 ways professional tenants take advantage of landlords, the warning signs you should be watching for, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Every week, I share practical landlord tips, tenant screening strategies, Illinois landlord updates, and real-world lessons from property management. I'm Gabi Witas, owner of Nex-Gen Real Estate and Property Management, helping landlords in Chicagoland navigate the scene. And after years of working with landlords and managing rental properties, I can tell you something that I think every property owner needs to understand. The easiest tenant problem to solve is the tenant you never placed. Once someone has possession of your property, your options change. You cannot just change the locks, you cannot remove the belongings, you cannot shut off the utilities. You have to follow the law. And in Illinois, where possession disputes and evictions go through a judicial process, one bed placement can become very expensive. So let's talk about the 5 biggest ways professional tenants take advantage of landlords. Number 1, they target landlords who don't screen properly. This is the biggest one. The professional tenants are not looking for the most experienced property manager in town. They're looking for opportunity. They're looking for the landlord who is tired of the property sitting vacant. The landlord who doesn't want to pay for professional screening. The landlord who says, they seem real nice, they have a good job, they said they'll take care of the property, I have good feeling about them. That is exactly the landlord who can get into trouble, because professional screening is not about whether you like someone. It's not about whether they have a good personality. It's not about whether their story sounds believable. It's about verification. Verify the income, verify the employment, review the credit, verify the landlord references, review the application for inconsistencies. Look at the entire financial picture, because the goal isn't to prove that someone is lying. The goal is to verify that the information they provided is accurate. There is a difference, and you need to apply the same written screening standards consistently to every applicant. Professional tenants benefit from landlords who make exceptions. They benefit from landlords who rush. They benefit from landlords who don't have a process. Number 2, they know how to manipulate documentation. This is becoming a bigger problem. Documents are easier to create and manipulate than ever before. Fake pay stubs, altered bank statements, fake employment verification, false landlord references, documents that look legitimate at first glance. And that is why I consistently tell landlords, do not collect documents just to check a box. Actually review them. Let's take pay stubs. Look at the year-to-date earnings. Do the numbers make sense? Does the pay frequency make sense? Does the employer information match the application? Are there wage garnishments? Are there deductions that significantly change the applicant's actual available income? Does the income deposited into the bank account reasonably matches the income being claimed? Now look at the employer. Does the company exist? Does the phone number on the application lead directly to the person the applicant told you to call? Can you independently verify the business? If you're verifying employment, don't blindly use the phone number provided on the application. Do your own research. The same thing applies to landlord references. Sometimes the previous landlord is not a landlord at all. It's a friend, a relative, a coworker, someone waiting for your phone call, and they know exactly what to say. Great tenant, always paid on time, left the property perfect. I would absolutely rent to them again. Great. Now verify the property. Look at ownership records when appropriate. Ask for how long the tenants lived there. Ask what the monthly rent was. Ask when the tenancy ended. Ask whether proper notice was given. Ask whether there were any lease violation, payment issues, property damages, or complaints related to the tenancy. Then compare those answers to the application. You're looking for consistency. One inconsistency does not automatically mean fraud, but multiple inconsistencies mean you need to slow down and investigate further. Number 3, they create urgency and pressure you to move quickly. This one is a red flag inexperienced landlords miss. Pressure. I need to move in tomorrow. I can give you the deposit today. I have cash. My current landlord is terrible. I need the keys this weekend. Can we skip the credit check? I don't have all the documents, but I'll get them to you later. Slow down. Vacancy pressure makes landlords do things they would never normally do. The mortgage is due, the utilities are still running, the property has been sitting vacant. You finally have someone interested and suddenly you start making exceptions. That is exactly when you need to become more disciplined. Never let an applicant's emergency become your emergency. You should have a process. Every applicant completes an application. Every applicant provides the required documentations. Every applicant is screened under the same written criteria. Every required step is completed before possession is delivered. And I want to be very clear here. Being in a hurry does not automatically make someone a professional tenant. People have emergencies, properties sell, relationships, and jobs relocate people. Life happens. What you are watching for is a pattern of urgency combined with missing documentations, inconsistencies, pressure to skip steps, or attempts to get possession before the screening process is complete. This is when you need to slow down because it is significantly easier to take another week to screen an applicant properly than to spend months trying to regain possession of your property. Number 4, they understand the eviction process better than you do. This is where the financial damage can become serious. Many first-time landlords believe that if the tenant stops paying rent, they can simply remove them. That is not how it works. Illinois uses a judicial eviction process. You have to follow the proper legal procedure. Notices matter, service matters, timing matters, documentation matters, court procedures matter, and depending on where your property is located, additional local requirements may apply. A professional tenant may understand this. They may know that an inexperienced landlord will wait too long. They know how to create delays. They may know that the landlord doesn't have the proper records. They may know that landlords used the wrong notice or handled communication poorly. And every additional month the tenant remains in possession without paying rent increases the landlord's loss. Let's say your property rents for $2,500 per month. 3 months without rent is $7,500. 6 months is $15,000. And that is before attorney costs, court costs, property damage, utilities, turnover expenses, and vacancy after possession is returned. This is why legality is so important. You cannot get emotional, you cannot threaten the tenant, you cannot take matters in your own hands. You follow the law, you document everything, you communicate professionally, and when legal action is necessary, you start proper process and work with qualified legal counsel. Hope is not a collection strategy. Ignoring the problem doesn't make it disappear. It usually makes the problem more expensive. Number 5. They take advantage of landlords who don't document anything. This one drives me crazy because it is so preventable. Landlords have conversations on the phone. They make handshake agreements. They accept partial payments without documenting what was agreed to. They allow additional occupants. They allow pets without updating the lease. They don't perform a proper move-in inspection. They don't take photos. They don't document maintenance requests. And then something goes wrong. Suddenly, it's one person's word against another. Documentation protects you. Before move-in, document the property condition. Take photos, take videos, complete a move-in condition report. Document who is authorized to live in the property. Document the rent. Document deposits and fees. Document pets. Document maintenance requests. Document lease violations. If you have an important conversation with a tenant, follow up in writing. Per our conversation today, It takes 2 minutes, but 6 months later, those 2 minutes can become extremely valuable. Professional tenants benefit from confusion. They benefit from landlords who cannot prove what happened. They benefit from verbal agreements and inconsistent enforcement. Your job is to remove that opportunity. Clear lease, clear policies, clear documentation, consistent enforcement. And here is the bigger lesson. I don't want landlords watching this video to become paranoid. This is not the goal. Most tenants are not professional tenants. Most applicants are not trying to scam you. And knowing your rights as a tenant does not make someone dishonest. Requesting repairs does not make someone a professional tenant. Using legal protections does not make someone a scammer. The goal is not to become suspicious of everyone who applies for your property. The goal is to stop relying on trust when verification is available. Professional property management is not about assuming the worst in people. It's about having the process that protects everyone. The applicant knows what is expected. The landlord knows what standards are being used. The screening process is consistent. The lease is clear. The property condition is documented. And if something goes wrong, you have records. That is how you reduce risk. So how do you protect yourself? Number 1, have written screening criteria before you advertise the property. Do not invent standards after applicants start coming in. Number 2, verify everything you are legally permitted to verify. Don't just collect documents, review them. Number 3, independently verify employment and landlord references. Do not rely exclusively on contact information provided by the applicant. Number 4, never let vacancy pressure convenience you to skip steps. A vacant property is expensive. A bad tenant can be much more expensive. Number 5, understand the landlord-tenant laws that apply to your property. Federal laws, Illinois laws, county requirements, municipal ordinances. You are responsible for understanding the legal environment where your property is located. And number 6, document everything, because if a dispute ever ends up in court, what you can prove matters. Professional tenants do not succeed because they have some magical ability to fool every landlord. They succeed because they find gaps. A landlord who doesn't verify income, a landlord who doesn't check references, a landlord who rushes because the property is vacant, a landlord who doesn't understand the eviction process, a landlord who doesn't document anything. The fix is not becoming suspicious of every tenant. The fix is having systems. Screen consistently, verify the information, follow the law. Document everything and never allow pressure to make decisions for you, because the cheapest bad tenant you will ever deal with is the one that you never hand over the keys to. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you're in Chicagoland area and you're looking for a professional tenant placement or full service property management, my team at Nex-Gen Real Estate and Property Management is here to help. Thanks for watching, and as always, where's your future?